Welcome to another edition of the Watchful Citizen, a local access program brought to you by the Lancaster County Democratic Party. I'm your host, Jane Egan. My guest today is Sean Flowerday, candidate for the District 1 seat on the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you being here today. Sean, let's start off by telling our viewers a little bit about your background and why you're running for the seat on the Lancaster County Commission.
So I work in child welfare right now. Formerly I was a correctional case manager with the state of Nebraska. I come from a working class family. I care about the lives of the people in District 1. District 1's my home. I've lived in District 1 for 26 of my 30 years of life so far. My friends and family live there. I'm running for Lancaster County Board of Commissioners because I think I've got something to really offer our county and the people who live in it. For the first district is what I call the heart of our county. It's central Lincoln. It's very urban. It's very diverse. There's a very high crime. There's very high poverty rates. Those are my issues. That's what I really care about, and that's what speaks to me. And that's what I think I can do something about.
Can you kind of describe just a little bit geographically the
Sure.
area that District 1 covers?
Sure. The districts are, I'll be the first to tell you, kind of oddly shaped. It starts down, it's a very diverse district. It starts down by Irving Middle School. It moves north up through kind of the central part of Lincoln towards downtown, and then it moves from there kind of northeast along Cornhusker Highway up towards Wyuka and East Campus and Wesleyan University.
Wow, that is quite the diverse.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. I love it. I mean,
yeah.
I've lived in District 1 just about my entire life.
Yeah. I lived there for 19 years, a long time ago.
Sure.
So, talk about the county commission. How many people are on the commission, and what are their responsibilities? What does the commission do?
There's 5 county commissioners. It's not a perfect analogy. The way I always describe it is, think of county commission. County commission is to county government as city council is to city government. It's the legislative body that oversees the running and administration of our county government. The largest county department is county corrections. That's one area that I really think I can contribute with my correctional background. They oversee funding for county courts, county attorney's office, county public defender, the County Department of Health, which is run in conjunction with the city, and then there's the Roads and Bridges Project. Those are all examples of the types of things that the county board oversees.
Mm-hmm. So obviously they have a budget. What is the source of revenue for the county to run all those operations?
The primary source of revenue for the county is property taxes. There are some other smaller taxes and fees that contribute total to county revenue, but property taxes is by far the largest part. And something that I'd like to take a look at. We all know here in Nebraska we've got very high property taxes. It's becoming a real problem. It's a problem for homeowners. It's a problem for people who are looking to become homeowners. And even though I think a lot of people don't recognize it, it's a problem for renters too, because renters are the ones who are paying property taxes. Let's not pretend otherwise. An increase in property taxes get passed on to the renters. One thing that I think we could do to try to expand our revenue base is right now here in the city of Lincoln, we all pay a citywide wheel tax. I'd like to see that expanded out to the rest of the county, because we know that people living in the outside of the county, they're coming into our city, they're using our roads, they're coming to do business, they're working here, and I love having them here, okay? They grow the economy, they make Lincoln what it is. But it's only fair if everyone's using the roads that everyone's paying to take care of the roads too. So I'd like to see that citywide wheel tax be expanded to the rest of the county as something we could do to offset the rise in property taxes.
So describe to us how property taxes are set. Is it set by the county commission or the city or the state? Are you just at the mercy of whatever falls to your Lancaster County Commission budget from other governmental entities?
That's a really complicated question. It is partially set by the county. It's also set at the state level as well.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, I feel like that's another show almost in and of itself, and I'd be happy to do that. We could do that, but that's it.
Right.
Revenue policy is complicated and hard to give a simple answer on.
Right, I agree. Okay, Tell us a little bit more about the commission so that people, our viewers, can familiarize themselves with it. I'm sure most of them are familiar with our state legislator and the unicameral and our city council, but the county commission doesn't get a lot of...
Yeah, it does seem like it's kind of the forgotten branch of government.
It's kind of the forgotten branch of government, but an extremely important one. So can you tell me how often do they meet, when, where, are they open to the public?
Sure. So the county commission meets twice a week. There's an open session and a closed session every week. They meet down at the county city building. Most people are familiar with it as sort of the county courthouse. It's over on between 9th and 10th Street over by L and K.
10th and J.
Yeah, exactly, in Lincoln, Nebraska. So that's where they meet. There are 5 county commissioners. I'm running for the first seat. It's kind of a centralized district here in the middle of Lincoln, and like I said, like what I always call the heart of the county, in central Lincoln, and then there are 4 other seats that are kind of pie wedges or quadrants of the rest of the county.
Okay. Is your seat the only one that's up for election in 2018, or are there others?
No, all of the odd number seats are up. So it's my seat, the 3rd district and the 5th district. So that's Todd Wiltgen and Deb Shore. Jennifer Brinkman just won in her seat just in this previous election, and then Roma Amundsen in the the southeast quadrant just won in 2016 as well.
Okay, and are these 2, 4, 6-year terms?
These are 4-year terms.
4-year terms.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So give me your take on why people should engage with the county commission.
It's a huge part of our local government. I mean, I think a lot of people have heard politicians say over the years that, local government is what matters to people the most. But I really do believe that. The county commission is what oversees your county sheriff's department. It's going to oversee a lot of your roads infrastructure. Whether or not you've got to buy a new axle for your car comes out of whether or not the county's doing a good job maintaining the roads, or with the county and the city combined, I should say. These are your 99-cent problems, right? These are your everyday places where people actually meet their government and interface with their government. This is the county DMV. This is the county Department of Health, making sure that the restaurant you eat in is cleanly, making sure that your water's coming out of the tap safely. The state's involved with that regulation too, but County Department of Health has a huge role to play in that, making sure that that our courts are running fairly. The county court system here is a huge part of what the county oversees, and something I'm really interested in.
So since you decided to become a candidate for the 1st district, you've been out visiting with voters in your district. Can you kind of summarize a little bit about what you're hearing from them? People are really, really dissatisfied with property taxes. I think that's not a surprise to anyone. Everyone hears that at the doors these days. We've been out knocking doors since July, actually. Our campaign is just going great guns right now. We've knocked on over 4,000 doors, so and we've had a great reception at the doors. What we're hearing from people is people really, really want to feel involved in their local government. They want a candidate who's going to listen to them. They want someone who's going to be there at the doors, who's going to be talking to them. I think a lot of times people do, just like you were saying, people don't know what their county board is. Well, that's a failing of, frankly, our local county officials, I think. People should feel involved, and our county leaders need to be bringing people involved into the system so that they can have a voice in their county government. If you don't know what your county government is doing, then you're not going to know what you care about and what you don't. People like that we've been talking to them at the doors. People like that we've been meeting them, out at their homes. Wonderful.
So, yeah.
To kind of follow up on that a little bit, so you become a county commissioner next year.
Hopefully.
What are you going to do to yourself personally, and to encourage the other board members to reach out to their constituencies to keep them engaged?
Sure. I've got a lot of experience as a community organizer in my background. I've worked on a lot of campaigns. I've worked on a lot of issue campaigns as well. I'm going to stay at the doors. I'm going to stay doing, I was actually thinking about this just yesterday, that one of the first things that I want to do is I want to do a community survey to find out what matters to people most and to keep people involved. I want people to feel like they're welcome down at their county meeting. I want them to come down and talk to us about their issues. It can't just be that in a campaign cycle, that's the only time that the politician listens to the people they're representing. They need to be out in the community. They need to be involved with the people they're representing.
Mm-hmm. So would you be interested in doing some forums or
Absolutely.
some commission
Absolutely.
hall, I guess?
Yep. Town halls, commission halls. Yeah, exactly. Yep,
Something
absolutely.
Like that. Wonderful. Okay.
Absolutely.
So we did talk a little bit about revenue sources
Mm-hmm.
to run the county operations. Can you talk a little bit about what the current budget is for the Lancaster County, and then after that, follow up, let's talk about some of the issues that you're most concerned with.
Sure. The current budget for Lancaster County is, or the 2016 budget, which is the last one I saw, was $180 million roughly. I want to say it was $182 million last.
That's actually smaller than what I thought it would be, but for a big county.
Sure. A lot of services are packed into that. Something that I'm really passionate about, something I'd really like to see happen is our county right now does not have a county mental health court. We've got a county drug court and we've got a county veterans court. They're both doing excellent work. Our county drug court is a specialized court designed to sentence treatment rather than punishment for drug offenders, which I'm all for. We need to be doing something to help somebody with a disease rather than locking them up and punishing them for struggling with drug addiction, which is a disease. We know this. We don't have anything like that for mental health services. We need to have a specialized court for mental health issues so that we can sentence treatment rather than punishment in order to address these issues, again, rather than punishing somebody with a disease. Right now, our county jail is all full of mental health cases, and they're not getting any better sitting in a locked box. So I'd like to see a specialized court to address mental health issues based along the same lines that we've done the drug court, which has been a big success and has helped a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm a little confused. Can you kind of break that down a little bit? We have a drug court, but not a mental health court.
Right.
So the drug issues is kind of it's a program that gives someone the opportunity to go into treatment rather than to be incarcerated.
Right. And so often the issue is if someone is struggling with mental health issues or if they're struggling with drug addiction is, they're resistant to treatment. They're resistant to necessarily getting the help that they need. In this case, you can actually sentence, the treatment itself is part of the sentence. And that can then be used to help get people the help they need rather than just, acting like every problem's a nail when our solution is a hammer, putting them in our county jail and leaving them there. We've got to find more alternatives to incarceration. Locking somebody up and just putting them in a lockbox, it doesn't solve anything long term.
How do you see that kind of a program being created? Do you have any idea what the cost would be, or would it become part of the drug court?
An
adjunct to that? Or?
I think an adjunct to that. We could build it out of drug court. Drug court in the long run has saved us money. The county mental health court would also save us money. Now it is. I will tell you, it's not the end all be all. It is in some ways a downstream solution. We've got to make sure that we have the service providers in our county as well to be able to accommodate the sentencing that a mental health court would do. We don't have enough mental health service providers in our town right now. At the moment, if someone is waiting if they're sitting on a waiting list for 6 weeks and they're suffering from schizophrenia, you might not know where they are 6 weeks from now when their time comes up to actually get the services they need. So it's not the only solution, but it is something that I think could help a lot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what are some of the other issues that you're concerned about right now?
I'm a really strong environmentalist. A little over a year ago now, our county voted in some what I think is pretty disastrous regulations on wind energy here in our county. You can't operate a wind turbine in our county at over 40 decibels. Well, that's about the sound of a running refrigerator. You and I are talking at about 45 or 50 decibels right now. You know what makes a lot more noise than a wind turbine running at 40 decibels? A coal train going through your backyard. We've got to embrace the fact that, I mean, clean energy is going to be the energy sources of the next 100 years. Nebraska in the last decade was the only state in the nation to see an increased reliance on fossil fuels, according to Bloomberg News, and that's just unacceptable. That's crazy that we've actually doubled down on fossil fuels and underdeveloped renewable resources. We are sitting on a wealth of energy here in Nebraska. We've got some of the best wind in the country, but we're not developing it to our we're not doing our best to develop it right now, and we've got to change that. Putting regulations on this, it's the only industry like it that we regulate, and it's made wind energy production in our county unsustainable. So
I've heard that we are the fourth windiest state in the
I've heard
union.
third.
Third,
So,
okay.
yeah.
And Iowa has been doing a lot
Yep.
of work in that area. I'm kind of curious, who are the stakeholders that are against developing wind energy and other renewable sources of energy?
It's the fossil fuel lobby fundamentally. I mean, it is. It's coal. It's oil. It's the same groups that have been fighting renewable energy for the last 30 years. This isn't anything new. It's as this. We're in the middle of an energy revolution right now, and the old form of energy dominance is trying to maintain control, and that's just the truth. So some of the biggest, one issue that we've had here in Nebraska is because we are a public power state. And by the way, I love the fact that we're a public power state. This isn't me being down on the fact that we're a public power state at all. But the boards of directors for the public power districts are elected, and that means that fossil lobbies can come in and can advocate for one or spend money on one race or another to try to pack the boards their way, and that has slowed our growth some in the state. Mm-hmm. So I would never give up public power, but it's just we shouldn't pretend like that's not an issue either.
Tip O'Neill famously said, "All
Right.
politics is local."
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to check my notes here a little bit and just kind of see if we've covered just about everything we need. You said that you're doing a lot of grassroots campaign work and that you've been knocking on doors. Do you have anything that's coming up in the near future that we can share with our viewers? Do you have any kind of campaign events that are coming up to either raise money or to go out and help you knock
Absolutely.
doors? Describe your campaign to our
Absolutely.
viewers a little bit.
So we've been doing most of our grassroots efforts lately have been part of our door knocking campaign. The goal is to knock 8,000 doors by the primary, which is May 15th. Mm-hmm. We're well on track to beat that right now. So I would estimate at the moment we'll probably knock between 9,000 and 10,000 doors right now, before the primary. Absolutely, we're taking volunteers to come out and knock with us. Anybody who wants to, I'm out knocking every day. But we've done some larger organized canvases as well. Just a few weeks back, we actually did a canvas. We as a campaign, we went out and we knocked doors for the Safe Quarter events to collect money for the Friendship Home here in Lincoln. That was one thing we did as a campaign. We do have an event coming up. There's going to be a fundraiser on November 17th. Mayor Beitler has actually endorsed my campaign, and he's been a very kind supporter. And so he'll be coming out and doing a formal endorsement of me on November 17th, and it'll be a fundraising event. So.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
Yep.
So have you ever, run for office before or worked on campaigns? This is your first time out.
I've worked on
Wonderful.
campaigns for the last. My first campaign that I ever worked on was I was a volunteer on Colleen Sang's mayoral race in 2003. I've been paid staff on campaigns since Matt Keneally's race in 2004, and then I've worked field and research mostly on campaigns. In 2008, I was a media tracker for the DCCC. And then most recently in 2014, I worked on the Mark Udall's Senate race in Colorado. And so I've had a lot of campaign experience over the years, but this is my first time out in front of it all as a candidate. Mm-hmm. I really like it, actually. It's been a refreshing change. I think it's fun, frankly.
Wonderful.
So,
okay.
Yeah, it's been great.
I really enjoy seeing young people stepping up and
I appreciate it.
being leaders in our community. Yeah. We really need you. If someone wants to help you with your campaign, do you have a website, or
Yep.
how can they contact you?
SeanFlowerday.com. It's S-E-A-N is how I spell Sean, spelled the right way.
Yeah.
Flowerday is spelled exactly like it sounds, flower then D-A-Y, so F-L-O-W-E-R-D-A-Y. It's just SeanFlowerday.com, and then we've got a Sean Flowerday for County Commissioner Facebook page as well. If you want to get involved with the campaign, you can contact our campaign on either. There's a volunteer sign-up login through, as well as an ActBlue login on the website itself. So.
Wonderful. Okay. So, what else can you tell us about the issues that you're concerned about, and just anything else that's on your mind?
District 1 has incredibly high poverty rates. All the
I was
poverty.
not aware of that.
Yep. Around Everett Elementary, around Everett Elementary, which is really in the heart of my district, they're facing poverty rates of about 80% higher than the national average. Around Hartley Elementary, it's around 78% higher. We've got to do something. We've got to recognize that while Lincoln is we're a booming city at the moment. We're doing very, very well economically. We've got a great local economy. We're a city that has been growing and will keep growing. But we can't leave people behind as we're doing that. All the growth can't just be out on the city edges. It can't just be urban sprawl with no thought for green spaces. It can't just be people in the heart of the city, getting forgotten about. The donut effect that we've seen in large cities all over the country. We've got to keep in mind urban development here in the city, ways that we can renovate and keep our historic neighborhoods clean and safe and prosperous, and that's one of my main goals. I'd like to be the urban voice, I guess, on the county board.
Mm-hmm. And how would you do that as a county commissioner? How does that fit in with the duties of a county commissioner?
Sure. I think one way we can do it is starting with that mental health court idea. Actually, Lincoln has a very large homeless population. That is one thing. A lot of those people are suffering from mental health disorders. What we've done over the years is, as we've closed down, the community mental health center, and we've shut down all other avenues that people used to receive treatment at. More and more mental health has fallen to law enforcement and corrections. Well, that's not what those people signed up for. It's not what they're trained at. And long term, that's not a solution. Locking someone up because they have a mental health disorder isn't going to make them not have a mental health disorder. They need treatment. In some cases, they might need medication. I think having recognizing that need within our judicial system is a way that we can start getting the people the help they need, so that we don't catch them back the next time, right? So that we're not dealing with the same problem with the same individual 6 months from now. And I think that's a way that we could help get some people off the streets, is getting them the mental health treatment that they need. Mm-hmm. I'd much rather try to help people who are struggling with addiction, or try to help people who are struggling with a disease, rather than punish them for it. Right.
Totally agree. Yeah. So we have a couple of minutes left. You want to give them your contact information one more time? And
Sure. Easiest way to reach the campaign is my email is sean@seanflowerday.com. You can also call me. My cell phone is on all of our campaign literature. It's 402-429-7834. Be happy to answer any questions you have about the campaign. Or you can go on Facebook or go online at seanflowerday.com is their website.
Okay,
so.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for appearing on the program today.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you come back again, especially after you've been elected. I want to thank our viewers for joining us today. And I want to let you know that our show airs on Thursdays at 10:30 p.m., Wednesdays at 6 p.m., and Saturdays at 12:30 on the Spectrum Cable Community Access Channel 1302. For more information about our program, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can contact the Lancaster County Democratic Party, and our contact information will appear at on the screen at the close of the program. Thank you for watching another edition of the Watchful Citizen. Until the next time. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.